Hello, dear students and viewers. I am Professor Seema Rani, Department of Social Work, Aditi Mahavidyalaya, University of Delhi, Delhi. In today's session, we will discuss about stress and coping with stress. Firstly, let us have a look at learning outcomes. Repeat. Firstly, let us have a look at learning outcomes. After completing this unit, the student will be able to understand the concept of stress and its physiological and psychological dimensions. The role of stress in the development of physical and psychological illness. Different types of coping mechanisms and coping style to reduce stress. Introduction. Stress is the feeling of being overwhelmed or unable to cope with mental or emotional pressure. Pressure turns into stress when you feel unable to cope. People have different ways of reacting to stress. So, a situation that feels stressful to one person may in fact be motivating to another. Stress can affect how you feel, how you think, how you behave, and how your body works. Sleeping problems, sweating, loss of appetite, and difficulty in concentration are common signs of stress. Though apparently stress is considered a negative avoidable feeling, it has a positive connotation too. In fact, psychologists and social scientists maintain that minimum level of stress is needed to push us towards our set goals. Non-existence of stress would lead to lack of motivation and purpose. This positive stress is termed as eustress. This eustress helps students prepare the exam, unemployed to search for job, people to finish their respective work. Let us discuss why do we become stressful. There are two major reasons. One, we perceive a situation as dangerous, difficult, or painful. Second, we don't believe we have the resources to cope. There are certain events or stimuli in the physical or social environment that are considered as stressors. What make events or incidents stressful? In fact, events in themselves are not inherently stressful. It is our perception that makes the event stressful or not. In general, eustress results when the stimuli are known. The individual is assured that learned coping patterns would be able to respond successfully. However, when the stimuli are perceived to overpower or existing coping skills, stress sets in. So, we can say that perception is an important function in stress, and the manner in which the individual views and evaluates the stressful experience is termed as appraisal. Look at this picture. According to Richard's theory of stress of appraisal, there are two stages of appraisal. First is primary appraisal, covers the intensity of threat, and second one is secondary appraisal, makes judgment about the coping options. Appraisal is subjective experience, so as the stress. The individual may perceive the event as positive, negative, or neutral in terms of their consequences. Negative or potentially negative events are further appraised for their possible harm, threat, or challenge qualities. For example, suppose you are about to give a speech in front of a large crowd. In this situation, primary appraisal would be you might initially appraise the situation as a potential threat, fearing you will make a fool of yourself. In this situation, second appraisal would be you might then assess your preparation, speaking experience, and confidence in your ability to deliver a good speech. If you feel well prepared, the threat might be diminished. But if you feel inadequate, the threat remains. Let us look at stress cycle. This diagram illustrates the stress cycle. Like, first stage is generation of stress. When someone experiencing stressful events. Next stage is stress overloading and persists. When stress overloaded, feel unable, manage to demands and losing control. Next is physiological and psychological damage to the stress, in which harmful effects of prolonged or intense stress on both the body and mind. Next is distress, uncomforted, unhappiness, and unproductivity. When someone severely affected with daily life activities. Then next stage is source of stress, internal or external. This is the trigger a stress response. Internal by the internal sources. Next stage is sources of stress, internal and external. This is the time to trigger a stress response. Internal sources like thoughts, behavior, pressure, etc. By the external sources, finance, relationships, conflicts, etc. This is the cycle of stress. Let's discuss stress of cycle in different manner. Like, first stage is stressor, begin with stressor. Second is stress reaction, leads to a reaction. Next stage is wear or tear on body. Reaction cause internal damage of body. Then reduce optimal health, when the negative impact of stress on health and well-being. And last stage is increased sensitivity, a deeper emotional response to situation or even a heightened physical sensitivity to things like pain or touch. This is all about stress cycle, which we are suffering from. Now, let us look at types of stress. There are 4 types of stress, like acute stress, second, episodic acute stress, third, chronic stress, and fourth one is eustress. Let us discuss in detail one by one. First is acute stress. It's our body's immediate reaction to a new challenges, event or demand, and it trigger your fight or flight responses. For example, pressure of a near-missed automobile accident or argument with family, etc. Second is episodic acute stress. When acute stress happens frequently, it's called episodic acute stress. Third one is chronic stress. If acute stress is not resolved and begin to increase or last for long period of time, it becomes chronic stress. This stress is constant and doesn't go away. And fourth type of stress is eustress. This is the positive cognitive response to stress that is healthy or gives one a feeling of fulfillment or other positive feelings. Let us discuss about difference between positive and negative stress. In positive stress motivates and focus energy. Negative stress caused by anxiety. Positive stress is short term. Negative stress can be short or long term. Positive stress as perceived as a coping abilities. Negative stress perceived as outside of coping ability. In positive stress, we feel exciting. In negative stress, we feel unpleasant. Positive stress increase performance, but negative stress decrease our performance. The example of positive stress is starting a new job or marriage. Example of negative stress is death of spouse or being neglected. Let us move ahead and discuss the psychological dimensions of stress. Psychological stress refer to the cognitive, emotional, and behavioral responses to demand or threats, often stemming of factors like work, academics, or social pressure. It can be manifest as anxiety, rumination, or perfectionism. Stress can be broadly categorized into different types, including crises, major life events, daily hassles, and ambient stressors. It may trigger many of the psychological ailments like neurosis, psychosomatic ailment, schizophrenia, and other personality disorders. There are three psychological dimensions. First one is cognitive. Stress can affect thinking process, including concentration, memory, and decision making. Second is emotional. Stress can lead to feeling of anxiety, fear, anger, sadness, or frustration. Third dimension of stress is behavioral. Stress can manifest in changes in behavior such as withdrawal, substance use, or increased irritability. Now, let us discuss the effects of stress on the individual. Stress influence our body like we feel fatigue, sickness, headache, breathlessness, muscular twists, etc. It affects on our mind and psychological like impaired judgment, hasty decisions, indecisions, worrying. Stress affects us emotionally. Excessive drinking, smoking, insomnia, loss of appetite. It reflects in our behavior also, like irritability, fuzzy, lack of confidence, negativity, etc. There are some coping mechanisms to reduce the stress. So let's discuss about coping with stress. Coping with stress is a universal phenomenon. The factors influencing coping behavior are both person-centered and situation-specific. Coping in itself is not adaptive or maladaptive in nature. It is defined as an individual's cognitive and behavioral efforts to manage or reduce, minimize, master, or tolerate specific internal or external demands that are appraised as taxing or exceeding the person's resources. Let us look at physiological aspects of coping. According to Hans Selye in 1956, he formulated the General Adaptation Syndrome, which explains how individuals adapt themselves and cope with stressful situations. According to him, first one is alarm reaction stage, when an individual recognizes the existence of threat or stress or a situation that is difficult to cope with. Second stage is resistance stage, which is experienced when the stress gets prolonged and the person decides the response is like fight or flight. Next stage is exhaustion stage. Exhaustion is the final stage, which is the experience when stressful situation still persists. During this stage, the individual resistance declines, and this might make the individual more prone to stress-related diseases. Let us have a look at some coping types of coping. There are two types of coping: emotional focused and problem focused. Emotion focused, this type of coping is directed towards regulating the feelings or affect surrounding or are stressful. Problem focused, this category of coping involves direct efforts to modify the problem causing the distress. However, In most of the situations, a combination of both these type of coping is used. Psychological aspect of coping. Now we look at psychological aspect of coping. Emotion focused coping includes various strategies like distraction, includes taking up activities that would help in taking the mind off from tension and stress. For intense watching movie, listening to music. Psychological aspect of coping like distraction includes taking up activities that would help the taking the mind off from tension and stress. For intense watching movie, listening to music. Denial and blame, using defense mechanisms. Another aspect is use of religion or faith for intense praying to God. Next one is acceptance or redefinition. This is the positive coping style where the individual accepts the reality and the acts with a positive attitude in mind. Based on personality, coping has been categorized into neuroticism associated with the increased use of escapist fantasy, self-blame and hostile reaction and maladaptive cognitive distortion, and extraversion, which associated with the use of rational action, positive thinking, adaptive problem oriented coping and support seeking. Let us discuss about some other coping mechanisms. Overt behavioral response in the coping process may well be delineated here. First one is attack, striking out at others or aggression directed intentionally to hurt someone. This coping is not very helpful as in certain situations, the aggressive expression might become the source of stress. For example, in interpersonal relations, when we have a fight with a friend, as a result of an aggressive feeling felt, the fight might become a source of added stress for the person. Second type of coping mechanism is avoidance or giving up. Giving up and withdrawing from a situation is another coping behavior frequently exhibited by some individuals. When an individual experiences constant stress over a long period of time, he develops apathy and stop making any attempt to consciously cope with the situation. This coping behavior is usually seen when the situation is appraised by beyond the control of the individual. Next one is self-indulgence. Indulging oneself or self-indulgence is another coping mechanism in the face of stress. In the face of stressful situation, individuals indulge in excessive behaviors like excessive eating, drinking, smoking, or spending. One indulges in such kind of behavior to get satisfaction from other substitute sources. Now, let us discuss about some coping styles. Resilience and healthy coping styles are connected to each other. Resilience is the ability to recover the difficult situations, and healthy coping styles are strategies used to effective deal with stress and adversity. Healthy coping mechanisms can increase resistance, but resilience is the basis of effective coping. Some coping styles are listed here like emotional focused, problem focused, purpose or meaning focused, social support, avoidance focus. Let us discuss in detail one by one. As social work professionals, our role lies in helping the clients learn resilience or healthy coping style. While reducing the dysfunctional ones, constructive coping styles would involve the following aspects. First one is emotion-focused coping style. This is one of the coping style to manage the emotional distress associated with the stressor. Individuals should be taught to handle their emotions like frustration, anger, jealousy in the right manner by using catharsis, yoga, relaxation therapy, meditation, sports, physical exercise, sublimation. For example, a short-tempered person may channelize his unwanted emotions of temperament through engaging himself in a heavy physical labor like cultivation, gardening, woodwork, etc. Next type of coping style is problem-focused coping style. Van den Bendre 2020 described problem-focused coping as the attempt to control work stressor by defining and interpreting them, planning solution, and choosing a course of action. Putting negative experiences into a perspective and interpreting them as a part of larger picture to deal with the problem at hand in the objective, unbiased manner. By doing so, the individual may realize the failures as lack of necessary caliber and may work harder to acquire needed competence and expertise. For example, a student worked hard for a competitive exam, but he could not pass the exam. Then he make a plan to study for the next exam using a different method, such as joining a class study group. Next coping style is purpose or meaning focused coping style. According to Algorani and Gupta 2021, this particular coping style employs cognitive strategies to process and make sense of meaning of a situation. When life is taken as something that can be influenced and acted upon, stressful events are perceived as challenges. Fatalistic and pessimistic attitudes therefore must be replaced by the optimism, confidence in self, and dynamism. When we find meaning in our experiences, no matter how painful they may be, it gives us purpose, connects us to what is important, and has a better effect on our emotions. For example, a HIV positive mother was able to cope better when she shifted priority from worrying about her illness to needing to care of her children. Next type of coping style is social support. When a person seeks emotional or instrumental support from the community, they are engaging in a social coping or support seeking coping style. According to Leopold 2019, while young children may look for their parents for support, adolescents begin soliciting and support of their peer or themselves. For example, a young woman aimed a complicated divorce seeks the advice of a close friend who had a similar experience and may offer compassion. Next type of coping styling is avoidance focused coping style. According to Meyerson, an avoidance coping style can be described as avoiding the stressor by pursuing an alternate person or task. Avoidance coping could also be demonstrated by seeking a distraction, although this method involves withdrawing or disassociating from a stressful situation. Peng and Thomas assert that these strategies are related to an individual's negative functioning. For example, an employee has been unable to meet his work deadlines and his supervisor has requested to meeting with him. The employee has not replied to the meeting invitations and has found an alternative route so that he no longer has to walk past his boss' office. This is all about the concept of stress and coping with stress. Thank you.